It has already been a big week for Disney, especially with that earnings call and the changes to the Disney stock. But folks, put quite a bit of stock in this next news item we have for you today. Bob Iger underway getting deposed. What does it mean? Well, it means his testimony is forthcoming in a trial, an antitrust trial that has Disney right in the center of its focus. Get ready, folks. It's time to dive in deep with deep trouble for Bob. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, the place where we endeavor to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and by golly, we love doing so. The only thing we love perhaps even more is when you like our content by clicking that like button. And with that underway, let's get underway right now talking about the legal quagmire that exists for Disney, Bob Iger, and Jimmy, not Cricket, but Pitaro, the head of ESPN, both being called to testify, to be deposed for a legal issue of great importance. Folks, let's bring on the panel right now and we'll explain what in the world is going on with Disney.
All right, this right here is from Matt Bellany, who, Iger knows that guy pretty well. Venues, life and death foretold. Everyone's fixed. There are little details here, so I'm going to try not to deviate too much. And there are a lot of opportunities to interrupt. Let's get the first facts here first. Everyone's fixated on the legal scuffle over Warner Brothers Discovery's failed bid to match Amazon for NBA rights, but another sports broadcasting brouhaha is heating up. I'm referring to Fubo TV's lawsuit over Venue, otherwise known as Spulu, ticketed for crucial evidentiary hearing in New York federal court next week. So again, next week, Fubo TV's lawsuit to Disney, Warner Brothers, and Fox is going to be going to court here. Fubo is a cable TV provider over the internet, and they've been an alternative for a lot of people who want to ditch cable but want to go internet-based and still have access to sports. When it was announced that that ESPN and Fox and Warner Brothers were going to be working together in concert to create a streaming service that would have all of these sports rights together under one ticket, Fubo said, hey, that sounds a lot like an oligopoly. It sounds a lot like a cartel, if anyone is more familiar with that phrase here. And the DOJ also stepped in and said, hey, this is a problem. So this is what this lawsuit is about. Fubo wants to block Disney, Warner Brothers, and Fox from launching their joint streamer. The hearings lineup includes 21 live witnesses with U.S. District Judge Margaret Garnett, not to be confused with Cheryl and Peace Garnett, who's doing the Gina Carano lawsuit. Also set to hear taped deposition from top executives, including Disney CEO Bob Iger. So
Jimmy Pitaro. So they don't want to get their wires crossed.
I was about to say they have to make sure they're both on the same page. That'll be interesting.
So Fubo these guys are suing Disney, and Bob Iger's on the witness list.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And can you even imagine if he screws up that deposition, he's going to end up on the witness stand.
He will screw up that deposition.
Why do you think that is, Mike?
Because here's the Bob Iger will screw up this deposition because as CEO of Disney, he has constantly lied about things left and right, and he's used to two things. He's used to CNBC letting him get away with it.
Yeah.
And number two is he's used to Wall Street investors letting him get away with it.
Yep.
And because those two things give him confirmation bias, then subconsciously he has been programmed in his mind that he can say anything regardless of whether or not it's the truth and regardless of whether or not the truth happens or not or did happen in the past. He is used to being able to say whatever he wants in the moment because what he's hyper obsessed with is looking good and sounding good. He does not care about the truth. He does not care about facts. He does not care about ever admitting that he's wrong. And he certainly doesn't care about fixing things that were broken, even if it was his own fault. He is hyper obsessed with how he looks and how he sounds. And because he is hyper obsessed with that, anything could come out of his mouth. And when it does, I'm there with popcorn ready to roll.
So the word is hubris.
Indeed.
So do you think he's going to try to pull the aw shucks movement while he's on this, while he is being deposed under oath?
Absolutely.
Dude is all about the okey doke. He's constantly doing that.
Me and the 11-year-old just screamed out yes, and I agree with him.
Well, and you can tell the 11-year-old Mexican Iron Kid that we took a poll who had the best entrance into the Pro Channel for their debut, him or Wilton. He defeated Wilton soundly, which will put a smile on Jonas's face.
My kid defeated Wilton, the internet puppet.
He beat him.
I'm also going to point out some.
He wants to see the. No, it's a poll. You'll
have to scroll way up. We do. By the way, folks are saying we should start a new channel called That Poll Place. We'll see
that
about
would be great. That would be great.
Well, it might have a different connotation depending on.
I have relatives from Poland, so I can be involved.
I do too much already, so I'll have to opt out of polling.
I'm worried about the clientele who might be interested in a poll place. I'll just tell you. But that said, I know we're not talking about barbershops around here.
I've heard they might not be entirely accurate, though.
No, I will also.
They could be in Epcot soon.
The other thing about this is I would love it if the people who are asking Bob Iger questions could point out the motivation on the timing for the announcement of Venue Sports here. For those of you who don't know this yet, Venue Sports just announced that it's going to be a $43 a month streaming service right here.
Just ahead of this, yeah.
That will not host exclusive content. There will be nothing on this streamer that is not available somewhere else. And Venue isn't here for the long haul. The streamer is designed to die. Venue is finite with a 9-year term, defendants tell the judge. So under oath, they're saying that this, which was brought up in the fight with Nelson Peltz in order to move the stock price up, allegedly, they announced this right before an earnings call in order to try to get into that streaming money yet again. You know how Mike was talking about that blue chip thing where they tried to be defined as a technology company? This was part of that play to try to say, no, here's all this growth that we could have. This thing right here, they're only projecting having 5 million subscribers in 5 years at $42.99 a month. That still puts them at less than 160 million per entity here between Warner Brothers, Fox, and ESPN.
So let me explain this, Jonas, because it's funny. So they came out to beat Nelson Peltz with this to drive the stock up and said, oh, it's going to be gonzo. It's going to be bonanza. This thing's amazing. And then as soon as they got in trouble with the legal side of things, they said, it's going to be terrible. We don't know why we're doing it. It's a pile of crap.
Right.
It's so funny how they're playing this.
If it was a profit, if it was a good idea, why not 15 years? Why not 20 years? Why not forever? But I feel like they understand here that they don't have what they need in order to make this successful. Also, that $42.99, that is most likely temporary because they're advertising locking in that $42.99 if you lock it in for 12 months. So that's a strong indicator it's going to be going up to, let's say, $50 or something like that. We're at the point where they're within $20 of actual cable. So I don't see the point of this streaming service in any way. It's non-exclusive. It doesn't have everything. It's expensive. And no one wants to be doing this long term. So what is the point?
The point was to stop Peltz, right? They threw a lot of smoke at stopping Peltz. They ought to rename this the Kabuki Bundle. But Culture, would you?
It has to end in a U, Pro. I'm sorry, it has to be Kabuku.
Kabuku Bundle. It'll be strapped onto Hulu. Your Kabuku. Culture, real quick before we say farewell for the time being to Mike. Could you weigh in on just the absurdity of this? There's no monetary gain going forward. This thing has to be costing them more in legal expenses than it's ever projected to make financially.
Well, at the same time, and I get courtesy of KMG, who sent me a wonderful piece of information, I can say that, when I'm looking at this, they're not offering anything additional. This is no different than what you can find on broadcast or anywhere else where you would normally consume said product. They also have no financial gain in the form of commercial offerings because they can't offer commercials on this. So this is basically just an extension, a paid for extension to pull in games, from places that maybe you won't get them. But at the same time, it guarantees that in certain markets, you're going to miss out on games that you would normally get. So there is very little upside here. It is quite valueless. And, the way it's structured, it seems like, as you suggested, is more trouble than it's worth, times a factor of 10. But again, this is all about the optics.
So, in other words, we're going to find some papers mysteriously that Bob will bring to the table showing it was really Chapek's idea.
Well, you know, I'm also going to point out here, there are some additional details that we're going over on a video on That Park Place later today. There are actually some pretty juicy details, including what has been referred to in the past as a Chinese wall put up to try to separate what's supposed to be proprietary information between these streamers here. So there's more to this story than we've even talked about today. A lot of this sounds like if Sherilyn Peace Garnett and this judge, Margaret Garnett, have anything in common, I think we have someone who might be calling baloney on Disney. Or we can hope.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end yet again, another video of excellence in the books. Why is it excellent, you ask? Well, because you were here with us, and we frankly consider you to be excellent. On your way out the door, ladies and gentlemen, please consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe. Click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, before we let you go, we always want to say this, and it's because we mean it. Keep learning. Keep growing. And you know what? Keep having fun.